こんにちわ皆さん, I am SumimaSIM. So I'm back. It's been over a month since I did my last speed build. I did not think it was going to take me over a month to release another speed build, but I guess I just have been really busy, and maybe a month is probably more likely to be what I'm going to be doing in the future. I have been uploading 3 Sim songs from the Sim stations every day, just because I'm a huge fan of the Sim music, and so and I've had a hard time finding them online, so I just decided to go ahead and be releasing those. And so maybe that has caused me to slow down some of my builds, but it's totally worth it to me. But I had released last month my very first speed build, which was Sundays ice cream shop, and here is my second speed build, which is Healthy Paws vet clinic, and of course it's a vet clinic. Before I move on too far, I want to go ahead and mention the parking lot that I first made here in the speed build. This lot is in Brindleton Bay, and I thought it was perfect because it's off to the side, and there's like a road that comes up to the side of this lot, and I thought it was a perfect place to put like a parking lot here. Just like with my last build, I kind of already had this build sketched out on some paper. I had to make some changes to it as I was building it, but for the most part, I pretty much knew where I wanted the basic structure of like the walls and stuff to go. Like, for instance, I made these half walls here, and I'm gonna end up making them full walls, except for the center like desk area. But for the main part, like, I know where I'm gonna put my walls and everything. I did make some mistakes, so I had to just kind of go with it as I was building, because I was like, oh no, I didn't add like toilets. So I do make some changes, but for the most part, I like to kind of draw these out on graph paper in advance. So as you can see, the idea was that you come in through the front door and there's the waiting room. You go straight to the center, and here's the little check-in booths. I made 2 of them, and interesting, when I'm play testing it, they actually walk up, check into one, and then walk over to the other and check into the other one. It doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, then I guess you could just have one. You could change it up. But I personally like it because I think it kind of delays them getting mad at me for not checking in on their pets. One little thing, just then, when I was putting up the saucer lights, I saw that little Simsy likes to use the small key, like I don't know what you call it, making it smaller. What should I say? The resize tool. So she uses the resize tool to make the lights, the little saucers, smaller. And this is a thing I never even considered. Well, I mean, I guess we couldn't used to do it, but now that you can resize them, so with every single one of my saucers, I resized them smaller, and I just thought that was fantastic, but I picked that up from Lil Simsy. Here, next to my waiting room, I have a little pharmacy. So on one side there's a pharmacy, and on the other side there's a pet shop. Like a pets, no? What? Oh my gosh, my brain is breaking. It's like a little pet, like, toy store. Anyway, so I just thought those were cute things. They're not functional, like, well, the pharmacy is kind of functional because you can make the medicine and then have your veterinarian go put it in the pharmacy vending machines. So that is functional, but I put a lot of these little registers around, and that's not actually functional. And the toy shop is absolutely not functional whatsoever. It's just kind of visually pleasing. I'm very big on having things symmetrical, and so I wanted to have something on the other side of the waiting rooms to be symmetrical, and so I just thought it would be nice to have the 2 stores. And that's why you can really see it in pretty much all of my builds that I'm really big into having things symmetrical, especially the shops themselves. Like, I'll make of course, the house not so symmetric because you have different rooms and whatnot, but as far as the like vet here is going to be super symmetrical, so hopefully that is pleasing to you. If not, you probably will not like it so much. It's nearly symmetric. I have to say, it's not completely. But another thing that I started doing here is putting the decals on the actual glass windows. I don't remember where I saw that, but I saw that from somebody else. There was some speed build I saw where they did that, and I just had like a aha moment. I just thought that was fantastic. But here you just see now I'm working on the little toy shop, and I didn't know what I wanted to do exactly. I think who is it? I think Sim Supply I got some ideas from him. I also am not a huge like pro with using the up and down 9 and 0 keys. I had like a goofball moment where I didn't realize you had to hold, control when you're doing it. So that's why the screen keeps jumping off to the side, because I just didn't realize why it was happening. But I just kind of dealt with it instead of trying to figure out why it was jumping. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I just I'd count to like 10 to get it to the height that I wanted it to be or something. But yeah, so now I'm just working on my little toy shop. I love these little stuffed animals. I love that we can make them smaller. I have to say, being able to make things small, like we were able to make things bigger with the one bracket, but now that we can make things smaller as well, like smaller than their default size, my brain still hasn't fully come to comprehend this new feature. I know it's not necessarily like new. I don't know when they updated it so that we could do that. But I guess since it's not something we used to be able to do, my brain doesn't fully like, oh, that's the thing that you can do. I feel like you can only make things bigger. So maybe in the future, like, I will really take into account the fact that you can make things smaller that used to be bigger. Of course, it doesn't work with everything, but like, just the fact that you can is pretty exciting to me. I had a struggle about like what to put in this little toy shop area, so it's really just the food and stuffed animals that are for sale here. And I think like I take these little lights out because at first I thought I wasn't gonna use the pet stuff, my first pet stuff pack, but I end up using it after all. So if you don't have that pack, it's okay. All you're missing is just a couple of things, but I have every single pack, so I like to use it. To me, it's related, like kind of with the ice cream shop, I use the business as well as like dine out and whatnot. For the vet, I felt like using cats and dogs, my first pet stuff. I think I use Get to Work. And there's one other pack, but I'm blanking on what it was. But yeah, so I used only 4 packs for this build, and I had to remove some stuff later on. Like, I think I accidentally used seasons, and I had to remove that because it was just one thing. I think it was like the umbrella stand or something. But for the most part, I was pretty good about sticking to my packs this time, so that was good. So by now you can kind of see what I was thinking of doing here. So I have 2 exam rooms. Just so you know, everything that is pink is turning blue, everything that is green is turning blue. So if the pink is turning you off, don't worry, it's actually going to be blue. But yeah, I have 2 exam rooms, and this has been working perfectly with playing my game because they actually utilize both exam rooms. I only have 1 vet. I don't have any employees working in my vet right now, but it's perfect because she will alternate between using the 2 rooms, like if there's still a pet in there or just whatever. So I've really thought that was great to see that. I did put in 2 different of these little surgery rooms, but there's only 1 of these little medical, like medicine making machines. So here's where it's not symmetric, right? Oh no, never mind, it is symmetric, but that other one on the other side is actually like a closet. I had considered turning the little closet area into like a bathing area, which you could totally do if you just want to take the boxes out of the closet, and make it look like you would take it in to get groomed or something. I was disappointed when I was playing the game because I didn't give my veterinarian any pets of her own, but she loves pets, so I just had her go down and like go kidnap kitties off of the docks and bring them home. I thought she could give them baths or like at least like do the little exams on them when she's off hours, but unfortunately it looks like you cannot take care of any pets except for your own, and you can't really use the exam table unless I guess it's actually a patient. But she is able to give the little wellness treats that she makes to stray cats who are sick. And so, out of the goodness of her heart, my little sweet veterinarian Kristine, every once in a while during her time off, will walk down to the docks and give wellness treats to all the little sick kitties. I just felt like she would be a lover, and so it's cool that you can do that. I kind of was wishing that you could give like the whole treatment, but at least we have the wellness treats. This is where I started trying to decorate my waiting room. Of course, all waiting rooms have like the magazine racks and plants. And so I was trying to work on my plants here. I kind of struggled with like, what did I want to do? I wanted them to be different, but I also wanted it to kind of, I don't know, make sense and match each other. But it's not like the biggest deal in the world, so I don't think I spent all that too much time worrying about the plants specifically. But yeah, I really like how this waiting room turned out. Originally it looked more like, originally I was thinking about making more seats, but I think that would look more like an airport or something, which, oh my gosh, I should make an airport. But now it's time for the posters, which is always a struggle for any vet build I have ever done in the past. The struggle is always with where to put these posters, because these posters are super cute and I don't want to like neglect them, but I just never really know how I want to decorate. There are always posters or flyers or whatever up in like the vets and stuff that I've been to, and like the doctor's offices. So I kind of wanted to do something along the lines of that, and these little motivational posters are cute. Oh, and I did kind of miss whenever I had made these walls full walls, so I thought it looked better to have like actual hallways off to the side rather than it being a half wall, because I thought if you're going to take your pet into like a back room to be examined or to go into a surgery, that usually they don't have it like open and exposed for everybody to see. So that's why I decided to make it full walls. I just thought it made the exam rooms and surgery rooms more private, and so I just thought that looked better. And I definitely think it helps you to focus your attention there in the center to like, I guess, where the welcome employee. I wish you could actually assign people to like stand there and welcome people who come into your vet, but I guess you can't really do that. I think hospitals could do that, but you can't build your own hospital per se. I mean, I think you can edit their hospital, but you can't just make your own, right? Yeah. So here you can see I kind of am just throwing posters every which way, and I kind of don't know what I want to do as far as the other stuff that I've been putting around. I thought the adoption posters were better off in the toy shop. Also, I started putting these calendars in there. Also, you see the really big paw prints with the health sign on it above the two surgery rooms, and I just, it's so cute. I love it. In hindsight, I don't think I've done it yet, but I put the little health doctor symbol on the, yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'll end up putting it in the center of the like little welcome area, and I kind of wish that I had done the little doctor paw, the health paw instead. But here's where I'm adding on my bathrooms, because I genuinely had forgotten to include bathrooms onto my build, and I still wanted it to be symmetrical, and I wanted to be able to see everything still that I needed to see, so I was trying to figure out where could I add them. And of course, I always think that every public building should have public bathrooms like included on their waiting room. Just, I don't know, that's how my doctor has it, and I think it's fantastic. Now, I'm working on a staff room in the back, because I know, like I said, I only have one employee, my vet herself, but in the, like, idea of having a staff, because of course usually vets have a staff. I wanted to make a little staff room for them to, a staff lounge, yes, is the word I think. And I really liked that I created these little pathways going from the surgery rooms to the staff lounge in the back. This is also going to be the access point to the upstairs where my vet lives, because I always create upstairs apartments for these kind of builds, like the ice cream shop or just any of these live, work in, any kind of shop I make. I always make my person live on the same place. I guess I don't always have to make an upstairs. I suppose I could do it a different kind of way, and that's an idea for the future. But generally I usually make an upstairs apartment because I think I always wanted that for myself. Like, I always thought it would be so amazing to have like a coffee shop and to live upstairs of it. It didn't have to be a coffee shop, but just in general. Then I created this little pathway, since this is kind of her front door over here to the back lounge, because it's kind of the front door to her apartment, so I decided to put her little pet mailbox over there. But now you can see that I'm working on my exam rooms. I decided to remove the counters because I just thought these darker ones looked better, and then I decided to put on some cabinets, mess with some stuff. I had to move posters around and whatnot, but I really think these exam rooms turned out really great. You can't really see it yet because I'm just jumping back and forth between them. Like I said, there are 2 exam rooms. Oh, and I changed the little chairs specifically in the exam rooms to match the cabinets and stuff. I just thought it looked nice. I really wanted to find a use for these big, like, Totoro shaped, like, cat lights, but I never found a good use for those. I really wish I could have, though. But now I'm throwing on some treats and some exams, like swabs and stuff on the counters. This, again, is exactly the same in the other one, so they're equal to each other. And now I started messing with the idea of putting, like, a window in here. To be honest, I'm not entirely sure what I was thinking, like, why. Like, I thought a window would look nice. I guess I wanted it to be, like, lit naturally, but then I was like, that would be so wrong. I don't know, I feel like it would reduce the actual privacy of the customer. I know, I think I think too much about these things. So I decided to remove the window, even though I thought it might look good in theory. I decided to remove it because I thought it would be like a privacy violation. But, so yeah, here's me just trying to make the 2 rooms look the same. I think, well, except for, of course, I make the, like, wallpaper and stuff different for the 2 rooms. Yeah, I was trying to find somewhere to put that, cat carrier, or it might even be a litter box, but I never was really able to figure that out. Now I'm working on the surgery rooms again, trying to do something with the Totoro lamps, didn't work. I'm working on the surgery rooms now. I really like these big displays of, like, what's on the inside of a cat and what's on the inside of a dog. But these are going to be pretty plain rooms, but I feel like they would be, like, in a surgery room. It's not really meant for the customers to come back there. It's just the lab technicians. And I decided to sew down these, like, papers because I just thought it looked like, in case the animals peed when they're trying to get on the little conveyor belt or something. Again, thinking probably way too much into it. Oh, this is, like, one of my favorite parts. So in the front, I decided to do these little fountains. I actually had used this little cat dog thing before in one of my previous vet builds that I've since removed. But I'm going to have a cute little fountain with them in the front. I didn't even remember that I put those 2 little statues at the front desk, but so cute because it matches this front area. But now I'm just trying to figure out how do I want to do the signing. And to be honest, I think I did something here with the signs that later I end up, like, I think I uploaded it the way you're gonna see it here. But personally, after watching and editing this video, I just didn't like how I did it. So I changed it for me, but this is how you're gonna see it. But now I'm just working on my little fountain area for my little cat dog thingamajigger. I didn't do the fountain thing in my past build. Instead, I had made it like a little little seated area. But here I was like, hey, I'm gonna make this like a pool, and then I removed a section, put the little statue out there, and yeah, that's what I did. So I thought it was super cute to have that there, and then I was working on making little like fountains and stuff with it. I was messing with what options I had. I have like little to no experience on making little fountain thingies. I think I didn't even know these existed until I saw them on someone else's build. I still don't even know. I saw someone who had like lights that change color or something. I don't remember if that was in a pool or if that was just regular lights. I don't even know where those are. So yeah, I guess it just shows you that I don't have like the most building prowess. I kind of think I always do things a set way. Like, I think I'm not as like experimental in the past, but I'm trying to be now. Like, I'm really enjoying kind of, well, in the past I never used to really draw out my builds ahead of time. I just kind of like did them, and maybe they end up being really boxy. But now that I've started drawing them out on a like grid paper, graph paper, it really, I feel like, helps me to try to make them not so boxy and make them a little bit more dynamic. So here I started working on the upstairs, which is, like I said, going to be essentially the apartment where my vet lives. And I decided to give her balconies. Normally I would never give like an upstairs apartment a balcony if it's a store, like, or a shop, or in this case a vet. But I guess I was just kind of feeling it because I wanted her to be a little bit more outdoorsy, because, I don't know, she likes animals, and I just feel like that makes her a little bit outdoorsy in my mind. I don't know, that makes no sense because I'm not necessarily outdoorsy and I love animals. But so here I'm working this third level, just so you know, is not anything. There's no stairs to get up there, and I leave it completely blank. It's just for visual, which is, again, something I've never really done before, but for the sake of this build, I wanted it to be taller. Like, when you're taking the picture for the gallery, I wanted the build to be taller because there's like a flagpole or something near here, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't gonna cause problems. But yeah, so this is actually where I decided to change things. So I actually liked having the logo underneath the words, and instead I had put the logo above the words. And after watching this build and like working on editing, I just didn't really like it as much having the logo above. But that's up to you, whether you like the logo above the words or below the words. But for me, I changed my mind after working on this edit of this footage. Then here's another thing, me trying to put in columns. Yet again, having some problems with columns. Like, what is up with these? Can anybody explain to me why the columns turn black? Like, what is that? Am I doing something wrong? I'm not really sure. In fact, I think those columns disappeared, because while I've been editing this video, I was like, where did my columns go? So I'm wondering if these columns actually disappeared. I have no idea. I'd have to look at my build again. I'm not really entirely sure. It seems like they might be gone though, because this looks better than what I thought I saw in my... Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so here I'm just putting on some roofing. I don't do the like fancy roofing that other people do. I usually like to do these flat roofs with the sides up, or whatever you want to say. I've always thought that those look so classy to me, like having the flat roofs. So to me, that's just, it looks better, and I don't know. But I'm also really not talented with playing with the different roof styles. Like, some people are just so good at that. And I don't know, maybe I can experiment with that in the future, but with especially these public lots that I've been working on, I just think the flat roofs look better, where I think the pointed roofs look better for private homes and stuff. But oh, I love how it looks on the front already. I do think I do something different with the top of this build, because this does not look right to me. Yeah, I think I'm getting ready to make some changes to the top of this. Yep, here I go. So yeah, sorry if it sounds like I don't even know what I'm talking about. It's because I have been working on this build like all month long. I actually did the bulk of this build shortly after releasing my Sundays build, but I've just had so much stuff going on that I haven't actually had time to continue working on this, and I got a little bit stuck. Like, after I made the vet part, I just lost the motivation to work on the next 2 stories for the most part, so I kind of stopped for a while and I had to come back to it, and it was a little bit of a pressure just because I really wanted to go ahead and play my vet, but I didn't feel like I could until I actually had it all built. So finally I did the push and I got it done. Okay, here I'm starting to add my plants at the bottom of this build. I don't know, I just feel like it's a default thing that I always kind of have to do. I just think it looks good. Especially with this build, because I ended up creating these 2 little sitting areas. Like, I think you drop off your pet and you don't really know what to do and you don't feel like sitting in the waiting room, so I created these 2 little seating areas outside, little picnicky looking areas or whatever. But I used the shrub cat and the shrub dog because I just, I thought that was perfect. I was gonna put some plants on the side of the house, but I got distracted when I saw the shrubbery cat and dog. I was like, oh yes, this is perfect. As you can see, I kind of changed things up. At first I was just gonna put the plants like at the base of the feet of the pets, but then I decided to go ahead and make them both 3x3, and I'm gonna, oh, do I get distracted here? Start working on the side of the house again. I thought these purple plants, whatever these are, I cannot remember, but I just thought they were so pretty, and they're like perfect for trying to line the side of a house like this. So I decided to use these, and they also have them like I just had. They have like a line of 3 of them, and then they have just 1 solo, which I think is fantastic. I wish they had that for all the plants, where you had the choice of doing a lot of them at once or just 1. Like, for instance, what I'm working on right now, this grass stuff, I wish you had the choice of doing 3 or just 1. That way you could do things a lot quicker if you wanted to do a line of 3. And then just going behind to do some terraining. I am really not very good at this, but I just think it makes it look a little extra special. I don't know. I decided to put some fencing around the shrubberies, and I don't know, to me that just makes it look more official. I don't know if that makes any sense. But I think this is where I'm going to grab me some chairs. These were part of the cat and dogs pack, so I used these. I think I only ended up using 1 on each side, not 2, but that does look kind of cute right there. But I think I'd use just 1 on each side and make it kind of like a little spot where you could just sit and, I guess, smoke a cigarette if you're one of those people who smoke cigarettes. I don't know. But I created like where it looks like they kind of walk there often, with the hope that people actually, use the trash cans. Besides, I had to put a trash can somewhere, like a really nice trash can. Why not have it right outside and make it look good, right? Oh, and so now I'm starting to finally get to some of the wallpapering and whatnot. I'm changing the doors to blue and just any blue that I may have missed up until this point, making some changes, putting some wallpapers down. So I think this will be like the final push to make the actual vet itself look complete. Oh, I clearly have not finished that back vet's lounge area, but that's okay. I'm sure I'm getting there. But yeah, just trying to figure out wallpapers here. Again, I wanted a wallpaper for the surgery rooms that was kind of basic and felt more like this is where the staff only would be. But just so you know, when you're playing the game, the pet owners do actually come with you into the surgery room. They come with you into the exam room, and then they follow you to the surgery room. Which I guess, I wish they would just stay still. Like, I wish you could get them to come into the exam room and sit down, and then just leave you alone until it's time for the bill, but I can see why that would be kind of hard to program in. But yeah, I think that the downstairs is really coming together now. I really just love this this vet. It's probably because it's so symmetrical that makes me so happy, because my old one it had a lot of areas that bothered me. But here, I love the waiting room, and people do come and buy stuff from the vending machines without even bringing a pet. They just come in and buy medicine, which is interesting. I guess I never really paid attention to that before. Of course, like, the cats and dogs pack is absolutely my favorite pack, and so naturally, playing a veterinarian is probably my favorite job or so, because I just love animals. It also was really great because while I was playing my other game, when I was playing Sunday, there's just so many animals who are getting sick in the neighborhood, and I really could not wait to start healing them. When I first started playing Catherine, my veterinarian, my very first customer, my very first client, was actually my sim. So of course I was like even more invested that my cat be healed, and it was just really great because then like my mom's sim brought one of our animals, and my dad's sim brought one of our animals, and so eventually like all of my family's animals are okay. And because I've already pre-made all of my sim families and they're just kind of living not in world, I was able to go through and like get to know all the pets that I had created for this world, and it's just really, really awesome. I do think that if you are going to make a vet, it is good to be close to somewhere that has animals like Brindleton Bay. I just have really enjoyed being able to get to know the animals outside of the vet itself. I also found that playing this vet is she's tired like all the time. She can only do a couple of customers at a time, and then she has to close up the place. But so far with this particular build, with this particular vet, just so you know, all the customers say that it's really nicely decorated, so that's cool. I've gone ahead and already recorded the POV walkthrough for this vet, but the first time I was recording it, whenever the vet got into the waiting room, like my cat had puked all over the the floor, and I was like, yep, nope, not gonna use this recording. We're gonna try this over again. I don't want to trigger some kind of puke like issue with people. But so now back working on the staff lounge room, and it's pretty simple. It's literally just like a chairs with counters, some sinks, and the doors, whatnot. So I think I'm getting ready to transfer to the upstairs. It looks like I am. So this is the apartment. The apartment is very open. I prefer to do things more like Max's style, where the rooms are really big and I give them extra space to move. Again, I think I said this in my last build, but since I've been playing The Sims from the beginning, back in the original Sim games, you needed to have basically 3 squares for any pathway, because otherwise you had to give them space to move around each other. And so I'm used to having like really big rooms. Now, as you can see, putting the stove in the corner there's only one space, but really only one sim would go towards the corner to use the stove at a time anyway, because otherwise they'll just wave their hands in the air and say, oh, I can't, somebody else is doing it. But, so most of my rooms are like really big and kind of empty, and so if you want to go clutter crazy, go for it. Like, I think cluttered apartments are awesome, but depending on how much clutter I put in, I start to feel kind of, I don't know, claustrophobic or something. If that's weird, I have no idea. But I like to leave mine pretty big and open, especially if I'm going to have multiple family members, which is not true in this case, but usually if I have multiple family members, then I try to make it even more spacey so that I can really see where everybody is at all times. So that's pretty much the layout for the kitchen I just finished. I think just got to do like wallpapering and flooring over there. I really love how I ended up doing this bedroom. I did something that I don't usually do. I always play with half walls up and down. So anytime there's a wall being up, I like to think about how to use it. And so I did something interesting in this little vanity area. I decided to make little mirrors all the way around. I just thought it would be kind of interesting, like if you were trying to do your makeup or something, or your hair or whatever, that you could look to the sides to kind of get an idea of how it looks. So I made this completely mirrored indent, and I want this in real life, so maybe that's why it makes me so excited. Like, now I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to have that in real life. I don't even want the vanity, I just want like the mirrored corridor so that I could get a better look to when I'm putting on makeup and stuff. But yeah, so here I'm working on the bedroom. Again, I made these rooms just kind of big, so I end up making like a really big closet, which is a totally unnecessary room, but I don't know, it just makes me happy. Then here's the bathroom, which I also felt really pleased with how I did this, just because it's different. I've never made a bathroom like this before. I kind of made it half shower, half toilet, which is kind of, I mean, in Japan, there really are two different rooms, the room that you shower in and the room you use the bathroom. But I didn't like actually separate them. I just made them divided by a half wall. But I thought it was really interesting, and I used the cat and dog packs like bathroom suit. So like the toilet and the sink and the tub are all from there, so they have like that little bit of a gold accent to them, or bronze accent, I guess. And I just think it looks really nice. Traditionally, I do not use tubs in like any of my houses. Maybe I have one, but I always have showers, which is what I tend to use. So this is like the first time, I think ever for me, like in the history of Sims, that I have a house that only has a tub. And I thought this was going to be helpful to like bathe animals, but like I said before, it looks like you can't bathe animals that you don't actually own. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, because that was kind of the reason why I wanted to do the tub, but it still looks good, so that's cool. Again, I did have fun making this little half bathroom situation, because I just thought it looked kind of cute, and I do really like the little bronzy looks. Here I do add like the smallest bit of clutter, just because I think it looks nice. I think for some reason I use more clutter in bathrooms than anywhere else in my house, like ever. It just looks more realistic, and I mean, that's the point of clutter, y'all. But so here I'm like pretty much done with the bathroom and throwing down some rugs to make the kitchen look better, because rugs are always the best way to do things. I had this little indent in the living room, and I thought it was the perfect place to put the television. I don't know, to me that just looks great. Like, that's how I would want it in real life. So put the couch down. So this is there's the umbrella stand that I end up getting rid of. But this is the basic layout now. I think other than extending that closet, everything else is pretty much exactly how it's going to be. So you'll see it jump around a lot during this time because I was really having a hard time working on the apartment. Like, I would do just a couple of things and then I'd be like, yeah, never mind, I'm gonna do more later, and then do more later and do more later. So that's why if you feel like it jumps around like so much more during this section, it's because this is not continued recording. These are from different days where, like, I think literally all I did that day was put out some lights. I guess put some doors out too, but it took, the upstairs is what took me so long, and I'm not really sure if it's, I was just kind of struggling because I really liked the upstairs in Sundays, and I felt like, how can this one be as good? But I think the important thing is to really not try to compare them because they're very different kinds of builds. And actually, by the end of this one, I really love this upstairs apartment. It's really, really spacey for just one sim, and it's just very, very comfortable. Everything looks really nice. It's easy to get around in. But right now I'm working on her little closet, her little walk-in closet, because I don't know, I guess she's a girly girl and she just looks good. And I don't have a walk-in closet, but I've always wanted one. I know, I just sound like the most like sad person ever. I'm like, I wish I could have that and that and that in my house, but it doesn't happen. It's okay. I really don't need a big walk-in closet like this. It just would be amazing if I did. I'm pretty sure that this is the biggest closet I think I've ever put in a sim house. I'm not entirely sure, but I am fairly certain, especially considering the fact that this is a sim living by herself. Like, I could definitely see me giving a bigger closet to like a famous sim, which is definitely going to be happening in the future, but I don't know, I just thought it was a good way to utilize the space, and I kind of had fun with it. I have kind of considered that if I decide to give my vet sim some pet, whether it's a cat or a dog, that I'd probably end up making that into the pet room. Like, if it's a cat, then absolutely have some cat trees. So I would probably put cat trees in the living room too. But as is, I do not create this vet with the idea of having any pets actually living here. And I also, the traits, I have it as a training ground, but I didn't put any actual training ground stuff outside because I was just thinking if a parent, a pet parent brought their fur baby into this vet, that they would probably just, anything like you might scold them or praise them might give you that training skill. I wasn't really imagining bringing them here to physically train their pet. I actually am thinking about making a pet training park. And right now I'm just adding to all the balconies, putting a little chair out there with a little planter pot, and I thought it would be kind of cool if she was like a yogi, so I put a little yoga mat out there. I just kind of imagine her like zenning out before work, and a little easel so that she could be looking out at the world and painting. I just have this like image of her, and I got this fish tank, and I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted it. Right now it doesn't have any fish in it, but I just think it makes sense for her to have a fish tank, not to mention it is part of the cats and dogs pack, and I just kind of wanted to utilize it for that reason. There was a huge gap like between me just doing that and a little bit of jump right here. There was a huge time gap. I just didn't know. Several times I came into the game and was like, yeah, I don't know what I want to do, and then I left again. It took me a while to figure out what I really wanted to do with these last 3 rooms of the apartment, how I wanted to decorate them. So finally I came back and I was like, hey, I have this idea. Whenever I saw the little rodent, I chose Whiskers, the pet rat, because I actually used to have 4 pet rats. I had 2 male and 2 female rats, and I had both of my male rats neutered so that all 4 of them could live together. It was just awesome. So yeah, of course, I had to choose the rats. I had to choose Mr. Whiskers. If you guys have a problem with the rats, of course, switch them out for the hamsters if you want. It's just rats are superior. But so after seeing that, it kind of helped me, I don't know, just make things click. So I made this room into a little study with a little laptop and little books and just a nice little place to come in and read. Really, if there was only one room that I could have in a house for myself, it would be a personal study or office. So I think this is one room that I probably never want to leave out of any of my builds. Like, I want my sim to have their own place. I don't know why, like, it took me such a long time to really realize that that's what I would want to use that space for. Like, you could tell that I was considering it, but that's what I ended up going for. Now, in Sunday, she actually had, like, a little treadmill gym-ish thing, but this one is actually going to be a gym. So she's got her living room, her study, and her gym. And it took me forever to decide that that's what I wanted to do, but I really enjoyed the final product of it. And again, this circular fish tank table is part of the My First Pet Stuff pack. Oh, so is the rat. So if you don't have those packs, just understand that those are things you're not going to be getting. But I personally think that it's totally worth it for somebody who used to have rats. It's really worth it to have Mr. Whiskers. I also think it's great because it lets her get some social outside of work and build a nice relationship with him, and I've been collecting all the postcards. But here's the gym that I started working on, and I decided to use the little doctor TV thingamajigger, because, you know, like at the gym, at least in my gyms, like they have the TV where you can watch while you're walking, and that's always been a thing that worked well for me because I need the distraction when I'm walking. I need my brain to be able to focus on something because I just get bored really quickly, which is why I like to walk outside more than I like to use a treadmill. And now we're coming to the end of my build, so I hope you guys liked this build, and I really appreciate you watching it. And I'm just gonna leave you now to the screenshots. So thanks again for watching, and this has been SumimaSim. Sayonara.